Shalom, shalom, Hotep, Islam, Alafia. What's going on, family? What's going on? What's going on? This is DTR 360 Books coming to you live on the check-in. What's going on? Happy Wednesday, happy Wednesday. We got a very, very special episode here today. Going live. We're having a very special episode here today. Talking about the new movie Lanier. Got the executive producers, writers, actors coming through on the check-in. Alright. So obviously this is history. This is lost history that you may not have known. Lake Lanier. Alright, so definitely you want to stay here. Share this video. It's going to be some history. It's going to be some jewels dropping. Definitely you want to share this video. Alright, let me see. Come on in. Alright. Hopefully my battery don't shut out on me. Alright. Come on in, share this video, share this live. Peace. How are
Hello.
you?
Peace, King. How are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Doing well, man. Thank you so
Good,
much for inviting us on.
good.
Very
How you
excited.
doing, miss?
I'm
How's everything?
good. Thank you. Excited to be on here.
Yes, indeed. So someone else will be also coming in, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
his username is Mike Shill. He should have sent you a request too. He's in
Okay.
the
Yeah, it didn't pop up yet.
okay.
Okay, it just did. Let's see. All right. Cool. I'm
Awesome.
waiting for him to tap in, and then
Okay.
Yes.
we gonna get started. I still just FYI, my battery is low, so hopefully this don't my battery don't die. What's going on? Peace,
Yeah.
brother.
What's going on,
How's
man?
everything?
Hey, we're here. We're rocking. Excited
Yeah,
to have the conversation with you. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for the opportunity. So,
indeed,
Yeah. Thank
yeah,
indeed,
man.
you so much.
indeed. That video that I posted on Lake Lanier is going viral, man. It's almost hitting 1 million views. So
Wow.
Wow.
you know that just goes to tell you the importance of lost history that
Yeah.
we so desperately need, and people are gravitating to this type of history, to this type of knowledge. So
Absolutely.
yeah. All right, so let's get into it.
Absolutely.
Assalamu alaikum. Shalom, Hotep, Islam, Alafia, peace. What's going on, family? This is a very special episode of DTR 360 Books podcast show. I have here with me the executive producers, actors, and writers of Lanier the movie, which you can stream and view it on Amazon Prime as we speak right now. All right,
Yes.
so we can start just by telling the people your names and a little bit about yourselves.
Absolutely. You want to go first?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I'm Cindy Coons Anderson. I'm one of the executive producers, writers, and co-director of Lanier movie. What else should I say about myself? I'm a
Whatever.
creator. I'm a creative. I love to dance. I'm just starting to make music, but obviously I'm also passionate about filmmaking, which is why we made this movie. Um,
Indeed.
and yeah.
Sweet. My name is William Anderson, and I am a co-director, co-writer, and executive producer of Lanier. Um, been making like impactful Black stories for a while now, or we have actually,
Mhm.
to spread awareness of injustices and the wrongdoings of what have happened to the Black community for a while now across all sectors. And Lanier was definitely on the bucket list to be able to tell because we knew Hollywood wouldn't do it. And yeah, we rose to the challenge and we did it.
Indeed. Okay.
And my name is Mike Schill, executive producer, with these two folks here, and had the opportunity to act within this film as well. And again, just to reiterate, the purpose and the reason as to why, I got a part of this project was the exact same reason that Will had said, and Miss Cindy, and just shedding light and transparency on some of the stories that are swept under the rug. And there are so many more that we probably don't even know exist. And that's the scariest thing of it all. So being a part of this project and being able to attach my name to what we've been able to accomplish up to this point and what we will accomplish in the future has been profound. And we just look to have a serious impact, man. That's it. Very simple.
Yeah.
Indeed. All right, so let's get into it. So what is the history behind Lake Lanier in Georgia? And is it actually haunted?
Absolutely. Well, in our eyes, it is absolutely haunted. And the history, it has a lot of history, but the movie and the history that we wanted to focus on was Oscarville, Georgia, which was a once thriving Black community that was destroyed due to racism, vindictiveness, and a redundant story in Black history, kind of just like Emmett Till, where someone is allegedly raped and then they just pin it on Black folks because that's like the easiest thing to do instead of looking at themselves in the mirror. Three Black teenagers were accused of this raping, and then from there, they didn't even have a day trial, and they were executed and hung in front of everyone within Oscarville. Then they destroyed the town, destroyed it completely, bombed churches, set houses on fire. Night riders were in the area. It's kind of just like Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Right,
That's
I was thinking
on
about
Wall
that.
Street. Yeah, but it's different with this one because 40 years later, when they were building Lake Lanier, the U.S. Corps of Engineers, decided to use Oscarville, among other areas, to make this body of water for power for Georgia and the surrounding states. So that's the main history that Lanier focuses on, and the history that's most important within our eyes when it comes to Lake Lanier.
And also, just to add to it,
Mm-hmm.
it's not only Oscarville too. Before Oscarville, there have actually been Native Americans
Mm-hmm.
on the land, and there's a Native American graveyard, and supposedly the Army Corps has relocated the bodies, but at that time, like back in that time frame, they didn't even have the tools to really go that deep and actually take out the bodies and relocate them. So a lot of, like, from research that we did, there's no way that all of the bodies could have been relocated, which in my opinion adds to the fact that the lake is haunted. Like, you have Native American graveyards and churches and Black people that were lynched, like, literally under the water. And then the fact also that the properties that were not destroyed are still under the water. Like, there's literally
Right.
full houses, churches, streets that are under Lake Lanier. So, yeah.
Mike, you have anything to add?
I mean, what can you add to that? That's just a testament to the reason as to why they say it's haunted. That there's just so much history that's tied on into that body of water and what lies underneath, and it kind of justifies and could be only the explanation as to why certain things take place throughout Lake Lanier every single year. That warrants the case that it's actually haunted. So that's the historical base. Obviously, we tie that on into the movie, and that's what also makes it and continues to make it relevant every single year, because there's always something that happens every single year.
So why exactly, or can I say what propelled you guys to want to make a movie on Lake Lanier?
Man, because I feel like when it's the most challenging story, especially one of Black history that's been swept under the rug, that's where I want to go first. Because it's like,
And so
if
what?
Hollywood
Why,
if Hollywood won't do it, why can't I do it? Why can't we do it? So I came to that story because I was like, these are stories that need nationwide attention and to have attention to, because we need to learn our history, or we'll repeat it if we don't acknowledge it and if we don't believe in it. So that's why I wanted to tell the story of like Lake Lanier since like 3 years ago. It was immediately like when I learned about Oscarville and what had happened, I was like, this is a story we got to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Right, right, indeed. And just to build off of that, I mean, I think it was last year I just learned about Oscarville through the video that I shared recently. So again, I think to Mike's point, there's still a lot of other cities that has been swept under the rug and that have been in a similar situation like Oscarville. And also to note that Oscarville was thriving. It was a thriving African black residency, right? Where you had hospitals, you had schools, you had houses, you had churches, right? So it was a thriving neighborhood and community, just like Tulsa, Oklahoma, just like Rosewood, Florida, right?
Mm-hmm.
And many others in the United States. And what happened? It caused riots, bombings. Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1921 was the first time that a city was bombed through the air, right? So, but even before that, we go into 1912, and we can even go even further, right? So, these type of information, knowledge needs to be uncovered, right, so to speak, because it's still hidden. It's not in our schools' textbooks. It's not in our colleges and university textbooks, and some of it is not even in our regular reading material, right? So we have this device, we have social media, we can definitely use it in the right way of exposing the truth and bringing forth and bringing forth our history, right? The good and the bad, because a lot of people just love to be romanticized about, the good side of history. But let's bring about the good and the bad because it's all of our story.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Yeah. I always like to say they can try to take it out of the history books, but they won't stop us from making movies about it because we're going to continue to do that. And we do want to, in the future, for future projects, we want to continue to tell Black stories or stories about Black history that are not like that nobody knows about, or stories that, only a few people know about. And then the rest of the world is like, I've never heard of this. Like it's just like with Lanier, there have been a lot of people
Oh
that
yeah.
are here in Georgia and they've lived here like all their life and they're like, I had no idea
Mm-hmm.
that was the history behind Lake
Mhm.
Lanier.
Great.
Even in New York City, right? Before it was called Central Park, it was called Seneca Village,
Yep.
right? It's a similar thing that happened in Oscarville, happened in New York City, where I'm from, in Central Park, which is a big park now, and a lot of tourists, a lot of people go to Central Park uh, for uh, for everything,
Yep.
right? To sit, to eat. It got a Central Park Zoo, for everything. So, but before that, it was a thriving African Black neighborhood called Seneca Village. So, to your point, we need to know about our story and our history and bring it forth to the masses. Speaking on Lanier the movie, which is an independent film, did you by any chance wanted to bring it to any major movie production company?
No, we didn't
Okay, why
because
not?
I felt like at that time, like we have to prove our name, right? Because a lot in the way the entertainment industry works, especially the big players, no one really messes with you until you're hot. Until you say, I put this much money up to make a film, and a risky film at that, and this is how it did, right? Because then they gain trust in you by saying, like, oh, maybe they do know how to tell stories that even in their eyes are risky, because Lanier is a risky story, right? It's not the typical slave movie that, the industry has literally like been a part of for so long, right? It's not that typical movie. It's a very risky movie. Um, So I thought, like, we got to do this independently because then we might lose some creative control. They might not want to expose the truth all the way. They might want to whitewash it. And I was like, nah, there's no way. Like, there's no way. We got to do it our way and show them that it works. And then from there, you know, somebody at some point will give us the keys to be like, okay, we see what y'all built by telling these Black stories and, you know, raising awareness of history. So here's a bigger budget, and let's see how you do it on a bigger scale
Right.
with names.
Okay. And so what was the process like in getting the movie on Amazon Prime?
Man, it was tough. Honestly, it was tough.
Did
Amazon didn't
did
actually try to like block us from doing it, right? It was just a lot of like, you know, setting it up, you know, putting in the synopsis, the log line, that type of stuff. And but we did have fears of that because we thought people would try to deny this from being, you know, widespread for obvious reasons. But we eventually got through Amazon. They even hit us up about Lanier and said we're one of the top movies to buy or rent on the platform, which is major.
Yeah.
So yeah, the experience was tough, but we got through it. So
okay, cool. And well, I actually supported the film, and I seen it yesterday. So it's a great.
thank you.
I really don't watch horror, but it wasn't that scary. But I mean, they say it's like
Yeah.
a horror film,
Yeah,
you know. But it was good though. It was good. I like that. I wish it was like a little longer, but I mean,
Yeah.
hey, it
yeah.
was good,
So do
right?
we. So do we.
So
Don't
do
worry. We
we,
ran
yeah.
out of money. That's the truth. We
Okay,
ran out of money,
Yeah,
okay.
there's no
and
way.
because
So
filmmaking
let's
is very expensive. Oh yeah, go ahead. You want?
Right. No, so let's talk about the economics of like putting up an independent film, right? Obviously it's a lot of your own money, and you have to sacrifice so on and so forth. So what was that process like? And just putting up your own money and you really not knowing how the movie will actually sell or do well, right? So what was like, take us through that.
Man, I get nightmares just you just bringing that up. Like I get nightmares
Right.
literally. My life flashed before my eyes because first off, we had to make a sizzle. And what a sizzle is, to just explain to the audience, it's like a proof of concept that you have to show to investors. So first and foremost, we had to do that because I was like, I think this would move someone a little bit more than just words on a page.
Yeah.
So that was the first step. And that was like the biggest thing that we had done up to that point. So the sizzle in its own right was very expensive. So we had to put money into that, right? Now we have no there's no clear path that even with putting this money up to do a proof of concept that this money is even coming back. This could be just
Right.
I'm opening up a drain and I'm literally just going like that,
Right.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we did the proof of concept, and then from there we put it on a page called Georgia Followers Official. And then our main investor actually came from that post, and her name is Angel McCauthrey. She's a WNBA player and a Olympic champion. She saw it, she loved it. We hopped on a call, gave her the presentation because we had a whole pitch deck over Lanier, and from there she wanted to get involved because she was really excited with what we wanted to do. And from there, she invested the most money into the movie, which was huge. But still, even with that, you know, we still had to make a featured film because once she made that investment, it was like, okay, we got to finish it.
Right.
And now, mind you, we're already in the hole from making the
Mm,
sizzle. Now she's invested in us to get to the finish line.
right.
So from there, we wrote like, how many drafts was it? It was like 20.
20, yeah.
We had to
20
write,
scripts, yeah.
and that's another thing to your point. The movie was much longer. Our first draft was like 95 pages.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, but then once you get that kind of broken down, somebody may tell you, oh yeah, to do this script you're gonna need 2-3 million, and you're like,
Mm,
Oh,
no, we ain't got no 2-3 million as
right.
independent, like straight up, we
That's-
ain't got it.
Right.
that's what someone told us. They told
Yeah.
us like your 90 pager is a $2 million script. Like that's how much you'll need. And we were like, we need to go back and
Exactly.
write or cut some stuff. And we ended up cutting 30 pages. So
Yeah.
it ended up being
Ooh,
a 55-page script. So And that's all due to budget cuts and like, okay, with this scene, like what can we take out here
Right.
to get rid of a safety person, or what can we take out here to get rid of the extras? And
Yep.
you know, it's a lot of back and forth, and keeping in mind like when you're an independent production, you don't have those resources, like, and you can't we've had a situation before where someone we worked with was like, well, we can call in favors, and you know, we don't need to pay people. And
Yeah.
William and I, we just don't work like that,
No.
because we want to pay everybody what they're worth. And to even do that was really hard. Like we
Yeah.
really had to, like, okay, we need to cut here and here so we can make sure everybody gets paid their worth.
Exactly. And then even that, we had to raise money once we got the final script. So the budget for the movie was like 100K, like basically. But even with that, you know, we still had to put up money. Mike, our executive producer here, he invested as well. Um, Ali invested, and that was it. It was only one, two, three, four, yeah, five people. Five people put up money to tell Lanier. And trust me, we talked to so many. I can't even tell you how many investors we talked to, and they were like, I don't know. Or it was, oh yeah, this is great. I can see how this could work. Like you got the history in it. Oh, this makes sense. Then never heard
Right.
anything.
Yeah, and we got stood up too. Like someone
We
was
got stood up too.
that person
Ooh.
was so gun ho on investing. He was like, "Yeah, I love it, and it's a no brainer. And I'm gonna meet you there, and we'll go over everything, and I'll cut you like a $25,000 check."
Mm-hmm.
And we
Yeah.
waited for an hour, and that guy literally did not show up. His phone was off, and we've never heard from him again after
Ever,
that.
ever again.
Ever. Yeah.
Man,
I won't say no
that's
names. I won't be
right,
messy, but
No.
yeah,
right.
crazy, crazy,
Right.
crazy.
Yeah.
Right. But no, that's crazy, and that just speaks to the power of, going through and finishing off what you started, right? Because just like you said, you already had investors. So the next, the next part is, just going through, seeing how you can finish the project, right? Whether it be budget cuts, whether it be, seeing how you're going to pay, your actors and so forth. So definitely thank you for sticking it through and for putting the truth out there, because we need that more. And, obviously it's going to cost money, right?
Yeah,
Anything worth having is going to take some
mm.
sacrifice, right? So again, thank you for sticking through, and hopefully you're making some of that money back.
Oh yeah,
Because right now it's over, what, 3.5, close to 4 million streams on Amazon Prime. So if you're looking at this, or if you're hearing this, make sure that you go look at the movie. Lanier is on Amazon Prime. And yeah, make sure you leave a review, and let's run these numbers up, man, for real, for
Thank
real.
you.
thank you.
So question. So have you thought about bringing it into like the movie theaters, or that's like a extra budget that you probably don't have right now?
Yeah, that's an extra budget. So the way that kind of works is that usually movies that go to the theaters, they have like a marketing budget, and they also are partnered with like different chains such as Regal or AMC.
Yeah.
So they already have that budget like allotted before they even shoot a movie. We didn't have that liberty. We did some theaters with Studio Movie Grill here in Georgia,
Yeah.
and those went really well. And they said for future reference, we can definitely talk about, trying to get our movies in more Studio Movie Grills. But when it came to like working with Regal or AMC, we just couldn't afford to put the movie in multiple screens without kind of like that guarantee of like, okay, we're gonna fill this many seats if we do it, because they want their money up front. So there's
Oh,
nothing,
okay.
yeah. So they don't want any back end money or anything. They're like, you got to pay like 2,000 a theater up front,
Uh,
and if you profit, you profit. If you don't, oh well, we still want our money. So that's
right,
kind of how that
Yeah.
right.
works. Yeah.
And how about other platforms, like streaming platforms like Netflix, Peacock, Tubi? Have you guys tried putting the movie on those platforms?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're actually talking to a company called Film Hub that wants to help us with getting it on more platforms such as Tubi, YouTube, um, What else have we talked about?
Was Peacock in there?
I think
Peacock,
Peacock is in
Paramount.
there. There's some other ones too that they kind of are partnered with different companies as to where independent movies can show. They give you that access because even with that, you know, we can't just hit up Peacock and say, "Yo, put our movie on there." It's like you got to know someone who knows someone
Yeah.
Okay.
to
And
get
they
that.
get a cut too, like
Yeah, they get a
they
cut.
take a hefty cut out of the profits as well because they're like, well, we made sure that you get on there, so now we want some of your profits as well. So
Exactly. So that, yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants some money, huh?
Yeah,
yeah.
everybody wants some.
Right,
Everybody want a piece of the pie.
right.
Amazon does too.
Oh yeah, Amazon does too.
They take
Uh,
50%.
yeah. So talk about that, right? So right now it's close to 4 million streams. How does that equate to dollars?
How it equates to dollars is amazing. Definitely can say that. We've made our budget back.
Oh,
We're
good,
in the green.
Yeah.
Gross wise, close to 500,000
good.
gross, which is amazing. And again, I just want to say, like, to everyone that has supported us, you know, by you doing this, this gives us the power to go to someone like Jordan Peele
Absolutely.
or to go to someone um, like whoever in Hollywood, whoever we think can tell stories like Lanier. Jordan Peele is, of course, the top of the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That can
Or
tell
Ryan Coogler.
Ryan Coogler. That's
Yeah.
another one.
Yeah.
Michael B.
Right.
Jordan.
Right.
Whoever that allows us to go to them and say like, hey, you know, we took 98,000 or 100K and we turned it into 500,000. It's immediately we have a conversation because they're like, oh, you did that with 100K. Well, what happens if I give you 1 million?
Right.
You know, so it's kind of like that, but not to mention they're way more experienced with us.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that we can learn from even them to know how to knock a movie out the park that has the same DNA as Lanier, where we're trying to like uncover, you know, history that has been swept under the rug. Of course, I know within Hollywood there is a lot of like politics with that, but I think there's a lot of filmmakers. Spike Lee comes to mind too that make like those type of radical films as to where it's like, you know, I'm just going to tell the hard, honest
Yes.
truth.
Right.
I'm not washing anything, and it is what it is. And people have supported it because, you know, I feel like why wouldn't they support it? Because it's such a rarity.
Right. Right. And so in seeing the movie yesterday, right? So this question came to mind. Daniel, I believe, Mike, do you play the character Daniel, or is it another character?
Say, I don't play the character there. I
Oh,
play Andre Biggins. Yes, sir.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Well, it was a character Daniel. He talks to his grandfather on multiple occasions, which is his great, which is his grandfather and an ancestor.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the reasoning behind Daniel talking to an ancestor?
Yeah. So that's a really good question.
Yeah.
So early on when we made this movie, we felt the dynamic between an ancestor and a black person living in modern day would be very, very interesting. Because in my mind, right, in 1912, to know that your ancestor got lynched and accused for something he didn't even do, how would their energy be in modern day? That was the question we asked ourselves.
Yeah.
Now, back in the day, of course, you know, even like post slavery, there was a lot of like, oh, we're going to just turn the other cheek during the Jim Crow laws and not rebel. We're just going to fall in line, right? And then you had the other side of the spectrum, kind of like Nat Turner, as to where he felt God called him to lead a rebellion against slave owners. And that he did. You know, the
Right,
brother going off on the slave owners,
right,
right? So in my mind, I was like, it would be so interesting to have an ancestor that wants revenge for how he was killed, and he's challenging, you know, his descendant in present day to do what I say, because if you don't do it, you're just like them. So to get in his mind in that manner, I felt like that was a very interesting dynamic and dichotomy within the film. So that's why we made James in that way, because I felt like there's a lot of ancestors that this happened to that wouldn't be happy. They wouldn't, you know, they wouldn't be like, oh, you know, kumbaya, like I'm
right,
back now, but it's peaceful. So that was the kind of the thinking behind James
right.
and Daniel.
And not
Indeed.
to mention,
Oh yeah.
sorry, and not to mention Daniel also had went through the similar situation than his ancestor. The only difference was he wasn't lynched. He just went to jail for 12 years. And it was a very tiny hint in the beginning of the movie, and
Okay,
I'm
yeah,
sure,
I didn't catch that.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure a
got
lot of
missed.
people didn't catch that. Also something that was a whole scene that explained that, but we couldn't put it into the movie. But he has basically went through someone accusing him of rape, and it was also a white girl, and he had gone to jail for 12 years. So that's why James pointed out, like, you've been through the same thing that I did. Like, you need to seek revenge because you should know what it feels like.
Right,
So that's
Hmm.
also that, like, modern day versus back in the day dynamic.
right. And seeking so much revenge that it basically tore up Daniel's family, his wife and his daughter,
Hmm.
right? So at what point, and I think the wife said it in the movie, she said that he just gonna want more bodies and more people, right? So at what point do you say enough is enough?
Right.
And why do you think that the ancestor, the grandfather, like wasn't satisfied, basically, right? He just wanted more and more and more. Even
Yeah,
to
I feel
the
like.
point where even to the point where he would risk his grandson being killed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
I feel like he actually wanted Daniel like to join him underneath and
Wow.
to seek revenge on those that did him wrong because his rage has overshadowed even what his descendant is going through. Because in his eyes, they did this to a community of people, right? Oscarville was like 1,100 black residents. So maybe in his mind, he's like, why don't we get 1,100 white folks?
Mm.
Why don't we even the scoreboard? Oh, it's
Yeah.
too much. Oh, but what about the 1,100 black residents that died? So that wasn't too much. So it's that same thing of like
Yeah.
enough is not enough for him until literally he dies or something happens to him where he can't possess Daniel anymore. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's something that we explained to in kind of a longer form script of how that kind of ended
Yeah.
before we had to leave it open ended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Not to
gonna ask
spoil
that.
anything, y'all, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, so
And I
yeah.
think also, to translate it to modern day, also it not being enough because people continuously, and this is real life, go to Lake Lanier to party, to have fun, to
Mm,
be on a jet ski, on a boat. They swim there. And for James as a character, it's just disrespectful to, to be having fun where a tragedy like that happened. And it's just like you don't even care about the history that's underneath. So I'm gonna take that fun away from you. And I think that's also an aspect. Like it's never enough until people stop doing that.
Right. And so, did you guys go to the actual Lake Lanier in Oscarville, Georgia? Okay, so what was that energy like? What was that, just the whole feeling of knowing what happened, and you guys filmed there as well, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
yeah.
So what was that like?
It was awkward. Like for me personally, when we went location scouting to figure out where we're gonna shoot what scene,
Hmm.
and we had our dog with us, and I already felt awkward just knowing the history and standing there. But there was like something like an energy there that I didn't like. And our dog, she absolutely hates water. Like she will literally jump over puddles. She will not go
Hmm.
outside when it's raining. And she was roaming because we set her free, and she literally went into the water and started swimming.
Yep.
Wow.
And she has never done this before.
Ever.
She hasn't even been at a lake ever before. And I'm panicking because I'm scared that she's like my next thought is she's gonna drown, like
Yeah.
she's gonna get sucked under. So
Go
I was ready
in the
to
water.
jump in there, and
Right.
she literally just turned around and came back.
I ain't gonna lie, I was not gonna jump in
No.
there.
No.
I was like, God bless you, baby, but you
Right.
gotta go.
Yeah, yeah. But
Okay.
yeah,
Can
she
you swim
just
by any
came.
chance?
Hmm?
Huh?
Can you swim?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Okay.
I'm alright.
Right.
You can swim.
A little bit, but I ain't going in Lake Lanier. I ain't swimming
Right.
in there. Cause
I don't want
they
to swim
always
in there
say,
either.
cause I've heard that a lot too. Like people can actually swim. Like I'm talking swim.
They like Olympic swimmers. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then they get in Lake Lanier and they're like, I can't swim for some
Oh,
reason.
wow.
Yeah, we've heard that before too.
Like they
Wow.
get hung up on something that's underneath. Because, you know, there's a lot of debris. So they get hung up on something and they literally cannot move.
Yeah.
And definitely, even when we kind of filmed that scene with Daniel and James, we made sure they weren't like deep in that water because, you know,
Yeah.
you just never know. Because already we were, you know, when James, or when, what's his name? Not James, but the actual,
John.
John. Yeah, his name, John. Before he got in the water, you know, we prayed with his pastor and all that.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, there cannot be a travesty here while we're trying to do a movie
Yeah.
over Lake Lanier. So,
And also he insisted on going
oh,
into that
yeah.
water.
Oh,
We told him like,
wow.
you don't have to, like, if you know, we don't have any divers that are there, so we need to make sure you're like in leveled water. He had
Right.
like a big stick to make sure there's no holes or anything. And he was like, "Oh no, I'm going in there. We're doing this."
Right.
And we were like, "Okay, as long as you want this, we're not forcing
Right.
you." And he's like, "No, no, no, I want to do this." So yeah.
I was like, good, sign this right here. Just go ahead and I'll fight. I didn't say that. Yeah.
How about you, Mike? Did you was you able to go um at Oscarville, Lake Lanier,
Mhm.
and what was that energy like for you?
Yeah, no, I definitely was there on two separate occasions, and it was definitely an eerie feeling, right? Like, you know, we did scenes during the day and we did scenes in the middle of the night. And definitely during the day, you know, you have the ambiance of just your general lake that's in Georgia. And you know, you could have a sense, you could get a sense that maybe something was off, but, you know, it's sunny outside. You know, people are out there. It looks normal. At night, it was different. I remember shooting the night scene. It was like 23 degrees, first off,
Wow.
wild.
Yeah.
And then at night you couldn't see anything. And I just remember getting to the house that we were staying at for the particular night scene that we were shooting that evening. And even the walk down to the lake, there was just an eerie type hum, just a different type vibe. And I think that's just a testament to, you know, what people say and what they experience, and the things that happen that are unexplained at that length. That's just a testament to that it's real. The energy is real. You
Yeah.
cannot funk. That funk is alive, and you just got to be cognizant of it. So I did not go in the water, though. I will tell you that much.
Right. Right. I don't think I
Absolutely.
would have either.
No chance.
Indeed.
Yeah.
No chance.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I got a couple more questions for you guys. So will there be a part two? Because like you said, it kind of ended kind of like an open-ended type of scene. And I believe Daniel, the character, he's still alive, correct?
Mm. Yeah. Daniel is alive.
Right.
And
We were both hesitating. We were
Yeah, I'm
like,
like, yeah.
but he is alive. Like if we're
yeah.
going off our long form, for sure, he's alive. There's a scene that kind of happens after that. As far as will there be a sequel, I can't say that just yet, but there will be a documentary, so y'all can
Okay,
stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
cool.
Over Lanier, because a lot of the things that we couldn't do that we had in previous drafts, where we actually went back in 1912 and kind of showcased that's going to be in the documentary, because with films, period pieces are very expensive. So if we do want to do a sequel or even call it a prequel, we got to get other players involved that can do it justice. Because I always said I don't want to go back in the day and film our ancestors without doing it justice. And
Okay.
unfortunately, just in film, that takes some money in order to
Yeah.
put people that look just like me in attire that is appropriate to the setting. The buildings have to be appropriate, the cars. It's just
It's a lot.
it's a different time period. It doesn't look like today.
Right, right. And so you don't mind doing it independent again?
Oh, oh no,
No. We would
no.
do it all over
I
again.
just say we'll just need more resources as to where someone can jump in and invest in us. And really, if they're more knowledgeable, that's all we really need in order to pull it off. That's literally it.
Cool, cool. Well, any last thoughts before we conclude?
Um, no, other than I appreciate everyone
Yeah.
that's tuned in on this call and has learned about Oscarville and Lake Lanier. In case you didn't know, Y'all can go watch it by buying or renting it on Amazon. Just know when y'all support us, it allows us to make other stories just like this and to go to even bigger players and say, yo, we want to do a $10 million black movie over history that's been swept under the rug.
Right. Right. Sydney, Mike, any last words?
Ladies first. Go ahead.
Just I appreciate the opportunity for us to talk about the movie and for your questions. There are also deeper questions and not just the normal, ordinary, like, what made you want to write this movie? And that's it. Like, thank you for actually digging deeper and asking deeper questions that also shine a light on, like, the backstories of some of the characters. Because I think a lot of people overlook that, like, that there's generational trauma in the movie
Yeah.
and the connection between Daniel and his great-grandfather. So I really appreciate that because we don't get that a lot.
Indeed. You're very welcome.
Thank you, King.
Yes,
absolutely.
indeed. All right, family. Yeah, Mike, you want to say something?
No, just thank you, and this ain't the last time you're gonna see us. The goal is to do one project. The goal is not just to be a part of one production. This is a series of things that we know we're gonna push to market. This was just the first one, and doing things like this and being on a platform like this and the other platforms that we've been on allows for us to get eyeballs on something that we believe in and eyeballs on something that truly is oftentimes overlooked. So just us being here is huge, and prayers to you and yours for allowing us this opportunity. And for everybody that's watching, bro, this ain't the last time you've been seeing our faces. So just get used to it. We're coming back, and we're coming back with fire, and that's it.
Indeed, indeed. Well, family, if you haven't seen the movie Lanier, again, please make sure that you watch it, you rent it, you buy it on Amazon Prime, and let's run these numbers up. Again, once you support us, you're supporting you. And once you support us, then we have a chance to make more movies about our history, more movies about our lost history to uncover the truth. So, supporting is very important. Making sure that you spread the word by word of mouth. I mean, it's free. It's free 99 just by posting the flyer, right? It's free 99 just by talking about it, having a live, talking about it to your mother and father, cousins, aunts, and uncles, right? That's free. So make sure that you support, right? And again, once you support, you're supporting us in order to make more movies like this and in order to bring forth knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. All right. So this interview will be uploaded also on all audio outlets, and it will be uploaded on our YouTube channel, DTR 360 Books. All right. So, yep. I leave you as I greet you. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom, shalom. Hotep, Islam, Alafia. Peace.
Peace.
Peace. Thank you.